Let's jump right in. Have you ever wondered why some nations can build transformational, massive infrastructure in literally a matter of years, while others just struggle for decades to even get the permits approved? To really grasp this striking global contrast, we're going to look at two specific infrastructure projects that kicked off around the exact same time.
And this brilliantly illustrates our core question. On one side, you have China's Beijing-Shanghai high-speed rail. Started in 2008, finished in 2011, and cost $36 billion. Boom, done. On the other side, California's high-speed rail. Voters approved it in 2008 too, but, well, the very first segment isn't even projected to open until the 2030s. And the cost? It skyrocketed to $128 billion. So China built a massive 800-mile rail line in 3 years, and California is spending more than 3 times that amount to maybe, eventually, finish a fraction of their track decades later.
Welcome to our explainer. Today we're unpacking Breakneck, the engineering state versus the lawyerly society, to see what really drives these two totally distinct approaches to governance.
Our roadmap today comes straight from the insights in Breakneck, a fascinating book by Dan Wang. It's essentially a dual character study of American and Chinese governance. We're going to impartially break down the structural trade-offs of these two very different superpowers, looking at the incredible strengths, the staggering weaknesses, and everything in between without taking any sides.
Okay, so the crucial starting point here is understanding what Wang calls the engineering state. Back in the 1980s, China started promoting literal engineers to its highest political ranks. By 2002, get this, all 9 members of the Politburo Standing Committee had trained as engineers. This created a governance model that treats society and the economy like a math problem. And it's a problem they solve by maximizing the state's discretionary power to construct massive public works at absolute breakneck speed.
You can see this mindset perfectly applied in places like Guizhou province. Now, Guizhou is actually one of China's poorer, more rural provinces. Its household income is just a fraction of a place like New York, but its infrastructure boom would put America's wealthiest states to shame. We're talking 45 of the world's 100 highest bridges, 11 operational airports, 5,000 miles of expressways, and about 1,000 miles of high-speed train track. The engineering state can just command economic resources to build big, and it's this exact state capacity that really distinguishes China's growth trajectory from other emerging powers like India or Indonesia.
But here's a really interesting twist. To understand this system, you have to look past the political labels. As Dan Wang points out, the greatest trick that the Communist Party ever pulled off is masquerading as leftist. Because despite all the Marxist rhetoric, the state is actually enacting a heavily right-wing, supply-side agenda. They focus almost entirely on building manufacturing and production rather than redistributing wealth. They keep welfare limited and maintain strict immigration barriers, all to support this one singular focus on building.
Section 1. The cost of building big. The dark underbelly of the engineering state. Let's look at the trade-offs.
Because, this breakneck pace of construction doesn't just happen by magic. It comes with some truly devastating human trade-offs when a society treats its individuals merely as aggregates on a spreadsheet. 1.5 million. That is the estimated number of people forcibly resettled to build just one single mega project, the Three Gorges Dam. And sure, while compensation can sometimes be generous, the state uses intense coercion, what they call thought work, to achieve 100% voluntary resettlement. Basically, if you were standing in the way of the blueprint, you're moving.
And ultimately, the same relentless machinery that conducts civil engineering also conducts social engineering. The state approaches population control with the exact same literal-mindedness as hydraulic engineering. We're talking decades of the one-child policy, which is causing massive demographic challenges for them today, as well as the grim reality of mass detention camps for Uyghurs and those relentless, suffocating zero-COVID lockdowns. It's a system that moves incredibly fast, but for sure, it breaks people in the process.
And honestly, even the ultra-wealthy aren't immune to this control neurosis. Just a few years ago, the government launched a series of regulatory thunderbolts aimed at forcing consumer tech companies to pivot towards strategic manufacturing. In a matter of months, that erased an estimated $1 trillion in corporate valuations. $1 trillion. The state retains total, absolute discretionary power to smash businesses that get too powerful or deviate from the master plan.
Now let's shift gears and talk about America, a system originally structured specifically to prevent that kind of arbitrary state action. But, as legal scholar Grant Gilmore astutely pointed out, in hell there will be nothing but law, and due process will be meticulously observed.
right? An overabundance of law can become its own kind of paralyzing hell. So, in stark contrast to China's engineers, the United States government is what we call a lawyerly society. 5 of the last 10 presidents went to law school. Congress is packed with lawyers. Now, this is a system perfectly designed to protect individual rights, to ensure pluralism, and to stop state overreach. But right now, it's a system that blocks almost everything it possibly can.
It wasn't always like this, though. Let's trace it back. In the 1950s, America was an engineering state too. Think about Eisenhower building the massive interstate highway system, or the Apollo missions. But by the 1960s, people were justifiably alarmed by the environmental destruction and civil rights abuses caused by those unchecked technocrats. So in response, the 1970s saw the rise of a new legal activism. The rallying cry basically became, "Sue the bastards." And while that was a totally necessary corrective at the time, over the decades, it slowly morphed into this culture of intense, paralyzing litigation.
Which brings us to Section 2, the price of process, paralyzed by proceduralism. So what happens when a society elevates the process completely above the actual outcome? Legal scholar Nicholas Bagley cleverly calls this the procedure fetish. Today, before an American agency can build anything, even a simple bike lane, it has to run exhaustive studies, engage every conceivable stakeholder, and survive stringent judicial reviews. Agencies are just checking endless boxes simply to avoid getting sued. The actual goal gets completely lost in, the 7th monthly committee meeting. And the result is decaying infrastructure and a fundamental inability to build quickly. And the real-world cost of this paralysis is just staggering. Take Cape Wind, an offshore clean energy project in Massachusetts. It was completely abandoned after 16 years of lawsuits by wealthy residents who simply didn't want their ocean views spoiled. Or consider this, a $42 billion Internet for All initiative connected 0 homes in 4 years. 0! And a $7.5 billion EV charging station fund that yielded exactly 7 operational chargers after 2 years. 7. These well-meaning procedures and legal maneuvers are effectively killing or indefinitely stalling critical infrastructure and decarbonization goals.
The ultimate result of these opposing systems is a massive structural gap in physical investment. In 2016, China spent 13.5% of its GDP on infrastructure. Meanwhile, the US's historical average over the last 3 decades is hovering around a mere 3%. That represents a staggering gap in physical modernization between the two superpowers.
Section 3, the future of superpowers, a necessary synthesis.
So why does all of this matter? What should we take away from this analysis of the global competition that's going to define the 21st century? Well, Dan Wang's synthesis suggests that each nation actually holds the exact solution to the other's fatal flaws. China desperately needs legal constraints. They need to learn to build less, build better, and ease up on the strict control neurosis that suffocates their people and scares away innovation. America, conversely, urgently needs supply-side progressivism. They have got to unwind the dominance of lawyers, recover their lost engineering prowess, and actually get things built again. And for emerging powers like India watching this unfold, the lesson is clear. State capacity to build is absolutely essential for growth, but it cannot come at the total expense of individual rights.
I will leave you with this final thought to ponder. As we look at the immense challenges ahead, from decarbonizing our energy grids to securing advanced manufacturing, which of these two superpowers will adapt their model fast enough to claim the future? Can America finally cut through its red tape, or will China's heavy hand crush its own potential? Thank you for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning the structures that build our world.